Hey there, Vikings faithful. Skull Nation. Let's get fired up because we've got some massive news rocking the NFC North. The Minnesota Vikings are staring down a golden opportunity to transform their defense, and it's all because of a bombshell from across the border in Green Bay. Jaire Alexander, the two-time All-Pro cornerback, just got released by the Packers, and the rumor mill is buzzing about whether he could be the missing piece for our purple and gold. Is this the move that catapults us to Super Bowl contention? Let's dive into this wild story and break it down, scene by scene, with all the passion of a U.S. Bank Stadium roar. What do you think? Should we chase this star? Drop your thoughts in the comments. The Green Bay Packers just dropped a nuke on the NFL landscape by cutting Jaire Alexander, their star cornerback and a former first-round pick. According to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, the Packers tried everything. Trade talks, a restructured contract, but in the end, they gave Alexander his walking papers. This is a guy who's been a lockdown defender, earning Pro Bowl nods in 2020 and 2022, and he's only 28 years old. But injuries have been a thorn in his side, limiting him to just 14 games over the last 2 seasons. Vikings fans, can you imagine pairing this guy with Byron Murphy Jr.? Now, why did this happen? The Packers were staring at a hefty $24.6 million cap hit for Alexander in 2025, part of his massive 4-year, $84 million deal. Per over the cap, cutting him saves Green Bay $17.2 million this year and $17.5 million in 2026, but they'll eat $17 million in dead money split over the next 2 years. Alexander turned down a pay cut, betting on himself to land a big deal in free agency. That's a bold move, and it's got the Vikings front office licking their chops. Do you think Kwesi Adofo-Mensah should pounce on this? Let's talk about our Vikings secondary, because this is where things get juicy. We kept Byron Murphy Jr., our rock in the slot, but lost Stephon Gilmore and Shaq Griffin to free agency. That leaves us banking on Mekhi Blackmon, who's coming off a torn ACL, and Isaiah Rodgers, a former Eagle who's yet to prove himself as a full-time starter. Last season, our defense showed flashes, but we all know a shaky secondary can sink even the best schemes. In 2024, teams exploited our corners, and we can't afford that with J.J. McCarthy stepping up as QB1. Could Alexander be the answer? Here's the deal. Alexander's track record is legit. According to PFF, he's been a top 20 cornerback in 4 of the last 5 seasons, with an elite 90.7 grade in 2020, ranking first among 121 CBs. Even in an injury-riddled 2024, he posted a 75.2 grade, good for 19th out of 116 corners, with 2 interceptions and 16 tackles in 7 games. The dude can still ball, but those injuries, playing just half the games over the last 4 years, are a red flag. Vikings fans, are we ready to roll the dice on a guy who's a stud when healthy but has that injury baggage? Now, let's get to the money. The Vikings have $18.4 million in cap space, per over the cap, and we've been creative with contract structuring this offseason. Think Will Fries, Ryan Kelly, Jonathan Allen, all guys we signed despite their injury histories. Alexander won't come cheap, though. He's reportedly expecting a solid payday, likely a short-term, prove-it deal to cash in big next offseason. Can Kwesi work his cap magic to fit Alexander under the budget without mortgaging our future? That's the million-dollar question, or, well, maybe the $16 million question. What's your take on splashing the cash for a guy like Jaire? Across the border, the Packers are scrambling. Without Alexander, their cornerback room is thin. Kayshawn Nixon, Nate Hobbs, and a bunch of unproven names like Carrington Valentine and Micah Robinson. Packers Wire's Zach Cruz called this a decision point with mandatory minicamp starting, as Green Bay didn't want to risk Alexander getting injured and guaranteeing his full contract. This move screams cap relief, but it also hands their rivals, like us, a massive opportunity. Vikings fans, how sweet would it be to snatch a Packer star and turn him into a purple legend? Let's zoom out for a second. The Vikings are in a Super Bowl window, assuming J.J. McCarthy is the real deal. Our offense is stacked: Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson. But our defense needs that extra punch to compete with the NFC's heavyweights like the 49ers or Eagles. Alexander could be the X factor, locking down top receivers and letting Brian Flores dial up aggressive schemes. In 2022, when he was healthy, Alexander held opponents to a 62% completion rate when targeted. Imagine that in purple. But is the injury risk worth it? Sound off below. Here's where it gets spicy. Some analysts, like Jim Sohan from the Star Tribune, are saying Alexander's history with Justin Jefferson could be a factor. These two have battled in epic NFC North showdowns, with Jefferson torching Green Bay for 184 yards in 2022. Would there be locker room tension? Or could they bury the hatchet to chase a ring? The Vikings have a knack for turning red flags into green, taking chances on players with baggage. Could Alexander be next? Let's hear your predictions. Would JAIRE and JJ be a dream team or a drama fest? Other teams are circling, too. CBS Sports lists the Dolphins and 49ers as potential landing spots, and the Panthers have been linked to Alexander all offseason. If we want him, we'll need to act fast. The Vikings front office has been aggressive, think trading for Jonathan Allen. So a bold move for Alexander wouldn't shock anyone. With training camp around the corner, the clock's ticking. Should we outbid the competition or play it safe with our current roster? Drop your hot takes in the comments. Let's dream big for a moment. Picture this. It's Week 1, 2025, at US Bank Stadium. JAIRE Alexander, in Vikings purple, picks off Jordan Love in a primetime showdown against the Packers. The crowd goes wild, and our defense sets the tone for a playoff run. That's the kind of splash play we're missing. Alexander's 11 career interceptions and 74 pass breakups show he's got the clutch gene. But can he stay healthy enough to make that vision real? Vikings fans, what's your gut telling you? Now, a quick reality check. Our secondary isn't a total disaster. Mekhi Blackmon showed promise before his injury, and Isaiah Rodgers has speed to burn. But neither is a proven CB1 like Alexander. In 2023, we allowed 234.5 passing yards per game, 22nd in the NFL. A guy like JAIRE, even at 80%, could tighten that up big time. The question is, do we trust our young guys to step up, or do we go all in for a proven star? Hit the comments with your game plan, alright? Skull Nation, it's time to wrap this up. But the conversation's just getting started. JAIRE Alexander's release is a game changer, and the Vikings have a shot to turn a Packers loss into our gain. Will Kwesi Adofo-Mensah make a move, or are we riding with our current crew? I want to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment, smash that like button, and subscribe to the channel for all the latest Vikings news. Share this with your fellow fans, and let's keep the Skull spirit alive. Until next time, let's keep dreaming of that Super Bowl run. Skull Vikings.